Alien Earth, a web series which is in the same timeline as the original Alien. But yet, we are not sure if it is part of the original Alien franchise or Alien and Predator franchise. And the last time we discussed about it, it was the breakdown till the 4th episode. And now we are going to do the breakdown from episode 5th to 8th. Let's start with episode 5. Basically, episode 5 is a prequel to episode 1. 17 days from Earth. That is before the crash on Earth. Morrow wakes up. I don't like the name Morrow. So I will call him Cyborg. I say that on internet. Will I be cancelled for it? So after getting up, Cyborg gets to know that there was a containment breach and fire in containment. When the two crew members went to check, they got caught two xenomorphs, facehuggers. And the two people were Captain Densley and Bronsky. And Bronsky was romantically involved with Zaveri, the acting captain now, since 8 months. Was it necessary? Man. What is more important? That Cyborg is not any better than humans. You will say, oh, that's obvious, but before that, we are introduced to a new character, that is Tang, and he is introduced for some space burial of the captain. Yes, captain, because he is dead. Why? Because apparently the space crew and one of the doctors out there tried to cut the xenomorphs or facehuggers, and you know what happens. I don't know. How stupid are you humans? I mean, who the hell tries to dissect an unknown animal? Okay. And one more thing. Yep. You're late. Yes, I agree with you, Gus, but you know what's more interesting than that? Tang stares a girl. Staring a girl in a spaceship where creatures are out and you are in danger. But you know what's more creepy? Creeping out a girl who... Staring a girl every day at night who is in cryo sleep. Weird. Meanwhile, we get to know that why these creatures are in the spaceship and where they are going and what's all with this. And it's actually quite obvious. What? You were expecting some twist? No, nothing. It's very obvious. We all know. It is power fetish even in 2120. 2178. I don't know the years. Forgot it. Sorry. So, one of the crew workers informs us that Wayland Yutani, is actually among the 5 big corporations of that time, 2120 or something. And she wants to get the ultimate power among the 5 corporations. And that's why she is going to use the darkest creatures from the darkest parts of the universe to get power. And yet you people call yourselves the smartest. Huh? Smartest creatures, smartest thing in the universe, etc. Whatever you want to call yourself, you think you are just the superior most organisms. I can't defend that. And like any stupid horror movie tactic, they all spread out and go to find the creatures. On the other hand, the technician informs Cyborgs that the spaceship is now a missile because the navigation system and the engine has failed. That explains why the ship crashed in episode 1. Well, that was very evident thing. I don't know if that was any great thing to talk about. Meanwhile, Zaveri is trying to handle the situation and not let crew panic. But Cyborg wants emergency declared and he wants the full control of the ship because he believes the acting captain, that is Zaveri, is not doing all that is necessary to keep the spaceship safe. And and also uses her relationship with Bronsky as a bait. Zaveri tries to handle things in her own way, and Cyborg goes and tries to prove that the ship is no more safe. And he goes and investigates other things in the ship, and his suspicion just grows too wild. He just doubts everyone. And while Cyborg is trying to find the person behind all this, Zaveri find out mother had the mother's intentions are very clear. She wants the containment safe, not the crew. Yeah, creatures are containment. And the meantime, all this is happening. The creatures help out each other, and they do what they are best in, hunting. Especially Octai. Octai went straight head on head with one on one with xenomorphs. And I think till now the internet had made viral shorts, and that has gone very popular too. Seeing all this, Cyborg tries to get out safe, though he tries to protect few of the crew members, but he fails. And then what happens is we see in episode 1 the spaceship crashes in the Prodigy land, and then you have to go and watch my previous video. I will put that in. And you might have noticed one thing, that I'm not explaining every detail of the story, because though it is a breakdown, I don't believe in spoiling everything by telling everything of the story and the content. So if you want very very detailed breakdown, then this is not the video for you. What will you enjoy, man, if you see everything on YouTube? Episode 5 ends with Cyborg giving his promise to Wayland Yutani and promises that he will return her containments to her. Someone calls it containment, someone calls it assets. Okay, I'm gonna see what they end up calling in the show at the later end. It starts with a sort of visual recap of what happened in the previous episodes, and I sort of like it. Joe is trying to get Marcy out of the facility, and Kirst says him this.
She's just a kid. Keep telling yourself that.
Nip's memory is deleted for treating her. This is how they treat them. Man. Meanwhile, Wendy feels that the creatures are victims. Victims. And on the other side, Slightly gets his man. And he's not who you think. And he's actually Arthur. Meanwhile, Yutani is humiliated by Boy Cavalier, and Curse also humiliates Cyborg. And in reply, Cyborg says this. Let me see it once. It will be a pleasure to kill Synths. Cyborg says that. I'm definitely not good in this. Curly is sidelined after that episode where she talks with Boy Cavalier. The episode's name is The Fly. So The Fly steals the show in this episode. How? Because The Fly shows that no creatures here in this spacecraft are victims. They're out and out predators. The creatures are helping out each other. And you humans are playing with each other, hitting each other, trying to humiliate each other and win over each other. And you know what? The creatures are smart. That's not the dangerous thing. You know the most dangerous thing is? The one we are thinking are invulnerable. The Synths are actually vulnerable to these creatures. The Fly kills Isaac. Episode 7 starts with Slightly trying to feed Arthur, who is actually not Arthur now because xenomorphs, or you can call them facehuggers, is on his face. Surely they are kids. Meanwhile, Smee gets into his room and finds out that Arthur is the victim and slightly convinces that Cyborg knows how to save Arthur and asks for his help. And as kids would always do, they can't say no, so he helps. And meanwhile, Kirsch is noticing all this, but he doesn't do anything. Why? Well, you will get to know that in the further parts of the video. On the other side, Boy Cavalier is trying to communicate with Octai, and he also sends his mans to get a person for Octai. Man. On the other hand, Wendy lets Xenomorph free, and the Xenomorph does what he does the best, killing. And then we see Slightly and Smee. They're on the beach trying to find Cyborg. They're trying to find Cyborg. But the facehugger is turned into a chestburster now. And the baby Xenomorph is out from Arthur's body and it goes inside the beach. And in the same beach, Wendy, Nibs, and Joe are trying to get out of the facility. But during the process, they find their graves and they understand the whole thing that has been happening with them. But on the other side, Slightly meets Cyborg, and Cyborg is disappointed that the baby Xenomorph is not inside Arthur's body. So he tries to take them down, both Slightly and Smee. Whereas on the other hand, Wendy is using Xenomorphs as her pet. Like she's calling whenever she needs him and saying him to hide and come after her. And on the other side, Kirsch comes and saves Slightly and Smee and also get Cyborg and his team down. And on the other hand, Nibs, Wendy and Zoe try to escape from the facility via the boat, but it was a trap. The security guards from the facility surround them and they try to stop them. But Nibs, after seeing the grave, she is turned into something else and she attacks them over aggressively. And I mean it, over aggressively. And for saving the lives, Joe decides to take the gun and shoot her. And seeing that happen, Wendy goes mad and says, "What did you do?" Yeah, अच्छा था. And this episode ends with Wendy being angry, Xenomorphs out, and Cyborg caught. Episode 8 is the last episode of this season. And it starts with Wendy and the other Synths in some cage, which was not actually for them, it was for humans, but because now they are out of orders and they don't listen to the Boy Cavalier and research facility crew, so they are put into the cave. But now Wendy is using her powers. She is using her powers to manipulate them, like Boy Cavalier, Sylvia, Kirsch, Cyborg, and many more. Basically, what she does is she let them fight with each other, and then Wendy and her friends can go and get them all at once. During this all things, we get to know a few things about Boy Cavalier. That his father was a drunk, and when he was some 4 or 5 years, man, he's not a genius, he's a psychopath. On the other hand, Kirsch fights with Cyborg, and Kirsch wins over Cyborg, but he damages himself too. But on the other hand, Joe has been sent in the room with Octai. Why? Because they want Octai to be in the human, right? I said in the previous episode's breakdown. So the human was Joe. But don't worry, Wendy comes and saves him. And while saving him and having a chit chat with him, we understand that Wendy don't see herself with humans anymore. She sees humans as a different entity and she likes the honesty of the creatures. I would like to see the loyalty of the creatures too. And then she takes Joe and her friends to the same cage where now we have Boy Cavalier, Cyborg, Kirsch, Sylvia. And now she declares a new rule, that is, she, her friends, and Alien. And the show ends here. This season ends like this: Wendy, her friends, and Alien announcing their rule, Octai getting into Arthur's body, which is shown in the end parts of the show, and Valen Yutani to coming to Prodigy Island, and also Wayland has cut off all the connections of Prodigy Island. So the end of season 1 is definitely very good. Like it's abrupt and it's like a cliffhanger for some other season, and it's actually good. And I'm definitely excited to see what is the loyalty of the creatures, how Valen Yutani is going to handle all the mess that's already in there, and I'm definitely hoping that Boy Cavalier is gonna take the revenge. And many more things related to Curse, Cyborg. And what's with Joe? Like he don't want all what Wendy and her friends are doing, but definitely he can't do anything now. So this season has set up a right thing, and I'm sort of excited for season 2. Let's see what happens in season 2 whenever it is coming, and I think it's definitely gonna come, the numbers this alien earth has generated, and I'm gonna review it, but after this video. That's all from my side in this video. Thanks for watching. I can talk English. Yeah, I can do it. How hard is to talk in English, right? I can talk in English. Yes, I can. Wait, I have been saying the same thing again and again. Man.